what does it really take to make over $1 million in a single month? It's a monumental feat of trading skill and discipline that few traders ever achieve. But it is possible. Today, you're getting a rare look inside that process. One of our top prop traders who has achieved this himself is about to share some of his secrets. Hi, I'm Mike Bellafiore, co-founder of S&B Capital, a top proprietary trading firm with offices in New York City and Miami. We've built numerous 7 and even 8-figure per year traders, and we teach what actually works. If you're serious about trading, you found the right place to learn how to grow your trading account. Okay, let's get started.
I guess first a little background. When I started at the firm, it was 2020. And for the first 2 years or so, basically every trade was an A trade, right? Everything was working. There was so much liquidity. There wasn't really as much of an emphasis on kind of a risk differentiation because everything was just so great. And then 2022 came along, and in the back half of it, I went through a drawdown. Really just like the only big drawdown that I've been in at the firm. It was around maybe 8 months, and that really forced me to go in and grade all of my trades and really separate out what is my A risk, B risk, and C risk. Drawdown was 1.2 million. And at the time, right, it was definitely kind of a existential crisis. It was, could I get out of this? And, you know, I was down for 2 months and then just kind of stalled for a few months and then finally kind of went back up. But after that, really kind of honing in on a system and ensuring that I'm really having that risk-like separation. Because for me, in my A trades, I'd say I'm probably right 90% of the time. I think there are very few times in which I've taken a max loss on an A trade, like probably 5 times in the 5 years that I've been here, at most. And the goal of mine has been, ever since that moment, is how to size up those best trades. It went from, let's say, having a great day, being like up 250, to then being a great day crossing into 500 or 600, and now with that great day goal of being 7 figures, which for me is that next goal. In these best trades, I've always said that I'm not most nervous with the big size in the best trades. I'm always most nervous in, honestly, those like starter B trades where I feel like they're kind of poor quality and I'm gonna take a rip on something that's not worth it. Usually I'm most stressed in those big days about whether or not I have all that size, right? Because I know that there is a expectation of myself to truly do incredible on those best days. Because in those best days, there's so many signs that could tell you that you're right. Usually it's incredible volume. Liquidity is spot on. The tape is showing you that you are right. And you also have people that you are working with that feel the exact same. And really being able to separate out those days from everything else and ensuring that you don't do any damage to yourself in those lower quality days is key. You know, you are going to do so much better in those A trades if you're not kind of dealing through either the emotional or actual performance drawdown from those lower quality times. So now in those lower quality times where things are slow, I'll barely trade, or the risk will be 5% of what that would be in those A trades. Because even if, let's say, I were to eke out a small little bit of extra gains, is like using up that like mental energy and stamina for such a slight gain worth potentially harming yourself for that big opportunity. And that's definitely been a pretty big change for me over the last few years. You know, I think that so far this year, I think that there have been some incredible opportunities this year. I think last year was still overall a better year in terms of the opportunities, just in terms of the consistent ops. This year, especially the last few months, has been awesome, right? And we've truly seen some very special like situations, but it's been more sporadic. But because I'm trying to scale those A trades and really just try and push myself as much as possible, on an annualized basis, I'm doing better this year than last year. And
Let me ask you this.
yeah,
So when you hear that Max drew down 1.2 million, does that sound like a lot to people in this room?
Yeah.
Does that sound like, wow, that'd be a really big hole to be in? Given where you're at right now, that'd be a really huge hole to be in. Does that sound like that?
Yeah.
Josh?
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot, right?
Yeah.
So, question for you, Max.
sure.
How you doing this month?
I'm up 1.7 million this month, and I was up 1.8 million in April. And I'll say this, I'm up around 600 this week, and I'm a little bit pissed off because I missed some executions on the Nvidia Breakout, and it's crazy. Like, I know how stupid that sounds, but the like human mind evolves so quickly. You know, if you ask me 1 year ago, I would say 200K week was great. If you ask me like when I started, like for like the first year, anytime that I would have a 6-figure week, I would always take my friends out for dinner and be like, it's on me, because it was like a really special thing. And now a 6-figure week would be a below average week annualized. It's crazy, but you know, that's the goal of this job, right?
Now what I actually think what happens is that when you have a 7-figure month, you come to me and Jeff and you say, I'd like to take the team out and for it to be on you guys.
Yes, I'd like the firm card, please.
Now it's the firm card. I think I actually liked it better when it was like going to be on you.
Yeah, no.
I remember a 7-figure, $1 million in a month was still a goal for you.
Yeah.
You were trying to hit that. And I don't think it wasn't even that long ago where I don't think you even had that many $1 million months, correct?
No, so I had $1 million month actually in 2021 because the market was so crazy, where I made 1.1, and I remember, I think it was December of last year, I was like almost gonna get it like once again, and I was at like 950 or something. I was like, damn. But you know, every time that you go through a market cycle, you should view it as a opportunity to take your trading career to the next pace. Like, you need really great like market cycles to change like your risk game. So for me, I'd say it was, the 2020 crash. Then like the next cycle was when it got like super hot. And then like 2021 was like the next cycle of like the swing market. And then like my risk honestly went down and sideways all the way up until the regional banking crisis of 2023. And then like 2024 had all the opportunities. And then, the crash in April, that took like my risk now to the next level, where, like your growth and development will be impacted by like what the market is like. And it's important that you don't try and like rush it, because it's a chance that when you start, the market could be dead for a year, and that's just the way it is. But you don't want to get into some big hole, right? Because the market is dead. So that way, the following year, when things really speed up, you are out of position. And one thing about this job as well is, it's harder to see bigger dollars, right? Wherever you are in this game, you do adjust pretty quickly. But like, I come from a normal family, so when I started out, the idea of seeing 5 figures on a screen for one day was definitely anxiety driven. And then it scales up where it's almost 6 figures, and you're like, whoa, I mean, that's more than like the average like yearly salary in one day. And then it took me a lot of time until I can start seeing multi 6 figures. And now if I ever lost like 1 million in a day, I would be very depressed probably for a while. But one day, ideally that like doesn't happen, but like you never know. I mean, if I am able to become someone that can make 5 million in a month, that's a realistic potential risk, right? And I think that really kind of like focusing on separation of risk, the odds of you getting into a big drawdown, if you are really good about grading your trades, is slim. Because if you're putting on 8 trades, in the long run, those should work. Obviously, not every single trade is going to work, but like you really shouldn't take like 3 back-to-back like max losses. Like, what are the odds that a trade that like you are right on 70, 80, like 90% of the time is going to lose 3 straight times? Like, I mean, it's literally like probably like 1 in 50 or something, right? So that is kind of where the confidence that you can derive really pushing sides is knowing that it's a top quality trade and working into that trade in a way that fits your system.
What was the last big trade you made with your buddies? And give us a sense of like the conversation that goes into prior to the trade.
Okay, sure. So the Nvidia breakout this week. So we have been watching it, clearly very close to all-time highs, and we were long a little bit. I think this was Tuesday night because it broke and it kind of like held over the prior zone. So for us, that was like starter risk. It was just kind of to get involved. And in PM, there was really good volume, right? A sign that this could be the day. So the plan was to basically join long any opening momentum and then to look for a move into that all-time high. And once we saw the RVOL, that was a sign that this was a really good opportunity. Now, the way that this trade panned out, we all put on a good amount of risk for it. The option actually only doubled because it broke out and it kind of just like trended up. But if we were to replicate that on, let's say, a more maybe explosive name like a Tesla, a CoreWeave, a Circle, something like that, where you get like
calls.
Yeah, where you can get true insane.
Did you just buy calls?
Yeah, just calls.
Okay.
Where you can get true insane momentum. Discussing in pre-market the variables that we wanted to see and the way in which we were going to execute allowed us to kind of act quickly once the opportunity actually played out and to have a structured plan. I think that one thing as well that is sometimes hard when you put on a risk or close to that is you buy it, and within, especially if it's a like momentum trade, you're instantly either up a lot or down a lot, right? And trying not to let that quick like result impact you. Like if, let's say, just for a baseline, 100 grand is a really good trade for you, and if you're putting on 2x that in risk and suddenly you're instantly up that, sticking to like your plan is key. Because Nvidia, I think I made probably like 300 that day on it. If I had sold instantly when I was only up 100K, I was like, wow, all right, that's a lot. I would be extremely upset by the close, because those are the days in those A trades that I need to make 300 or something. Because otherwise, if let's say I go and take multiple $50,000 scrapes, I'm not going to overall be up if I'm not making a proper amount on those best trades.
Was it tempting for you to take some off?
It was, because.
And what do you say? How do you keep yourself from
sometimes
taking off some or taking off too much?
Sometimes even just like taking off like 10-20% just for like the mental point, or putting on some sort of like a tight trail or something, allows us to mentally adjust to potential give back, especially when.
Are you communicating that with your team? Like, I want to take some off here. I'm feeling like I want to take some off here, and people are kind of holding each other to a standard, or is it you're just like kind of telling them, oh, I took some off here?
Yeah, so like we're discussing it. Sometimes there's like pushback. Sometimes there is a difference in the call, just based on confidence levels. I'd say for us, where there are the main differences, usually on these idea trades, it's pretty standard. Small caps is probably the biggest place in which we have differences because that's so much tape focused and stuff like that, that there's so many different, interpretations. But usually for the ideas that we game plan, we have a pretty similar process.
What was the risk on this trade?
We did this on every account, so I think if it all went poorly, if you take out the gain from the overnight, because like that was up, so that was definitely a very nice cushion. Probably would have lost 75 to 100 because the IV spiked once it broke like 150, so the risk reward got a little bit worse. But I think we bought around like I probably bought 200K of calls, and if this is like the thing with options, like the IV spiked on the breakout. If the IV held once it stopped out through lows, maybe the risk leg was only 50. But if the IV got sucked out because it kind of slow faded back down towards lows, then that's where it could have been the bigger loss. Yeah, like there are other like various trades like this month that were like really solid. Like the Circle IPO day one.
You said, just getting back to
Yeah.
so you said you put risk on with all the accounts.
Yeah.
How many different accounts are you trading?
One personal, 2 joint. But the second joint is very much idea focused and is not that like account takes trades and sizes them a little bit differently, just because there's like different people on that account. But for like the best ideas, like for like the big days, it is a great way to size up. Having like joint accounts where you are putting on risk, it definitely like mentally helps you scale trades because one, you are doing it with people. 2, you don't always like just like mentally like realize all of the size going on. Like for example, if you have 100,000 risk and it's split up between 60, 20, and 20, just human psychology, it is easier to see that split up than to see like the full amount on just one account. So that's why like joint accounts have been super like useful. And also sometimes just on like personal accounts, like you will mismanage it. It's definitely like possible, and being able to have the backstop of a more systematic like joint account is very useful.
And so one quick question, and then I'm sure some of the folks in the room and on the call have questions, but with regard to scoring the opportunities or grading the opportunities, how helpful is it to be on a team and have confidence, not just that you are scoring the opportunity, but in the accuracy of the score?
I think that being able to discuss it with people is super beneficial because something especially that I do sometimes is I will try and craft really good risk rewards, and that's kind of sometimes making up trades because I'll see like let's say something that's good on the option side and I'm like, wow, this really looks like this could work. And then like sometimes I'll see something, I'll say, wow, the IV is way too much, but for a good reason. I think that having that back and forth, especially with people that are very strong-headed, or I don't know what's like the right word, or very type A maybe, people don't hold back, right? Like you want to be on a call where people will instantly give their full opinion, or else you're basically just like talking to yourself. Is very beneficial.
Okay, can I explore that? So, run through one of your joint accounts.
Sure.
Run through the people on the joint accounts, and if you could, summarize their strengths.
Sure.
And I point that out because I'm curious as to what each one of them brings to decision making, and whether or not each of them in some way has unique strengths.
Sure. I'd say that Nano is most similar to me, in which she's very aggressive with risk and really wants to push size when it's appropriate. And I think that he's also like me, and sometimes he wants to take off stuff a little bit sooner because we like putting on so much size. It means that we like kind of making it a little bit more like risk-free. Armand's really good at being very systematic. He sticks, I've seen him buy an IPO at like $7 and still be in it at 22 because it hasn't like trailed out. And I would have sold it at like 15 or something like that, right? And having that voice is very good, because if it was just me and Nano, I could see us kind of scare the other out kind of quickly. And then Steven has kind of taken a mix of all of them. He's systematic, he's a little bit more conservative, but when the opportunities, like, he's a really good kind of A trader. Like, he's good in putting on the risk when there's a size, and he's grown like with all of us. You know, he's on like my team. Like this is not like my team, but like he's on like my team at the firm, and you know, he's taking stuff from me, taking stuff from the guys, and he's kind of become like his own mixed like version of that, which is super useful.
Do you feel like having that social component to your joint accounts, to your team trading, is necessary for you to thrive?
I know for a fact that there are countless trades which I would not be as big in, hands down, no chance. And my growth would not have been as fast as it's been if it was not for working with these guys.
And you guys have fun during the day too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even feel like I'm going to work. I wake up, I log on, up or down 6 figures, go to the gym, come back, and that's the day. You know, it feels like I'm on like vacation, right? I mean, like, I haven't taken a full day off from the screen since I got here. I mean, even on vacation, I'm still speaking with the guys. Like, maybe I've taken 2 or 3 days off, or 5. You know, just because it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like a obligation. And it, you know, I'm definitely blessed to be able to do that. You know, this is a job where it's your trading business. You have the rules that are set by the firm, but besides that, it's like your own. I mean, like, you are like your own boss. Like, no one's telling you what to do, and your future is in your full control. It's just, you know, it just depends what you guys do with it.
So you're an active trader, not doing as well as you want, not doing as well as you deserve, and you just can't figure out why you can't become profitable no matter how hard you try. Well, let me show you why. This is your competition. The traders in this room. This room right here is full of elite traders, some of whom are making 7 and even 8 figures a year. In fact, our top guys have made nearly 20 million each in net trading profits in a single year. Let's head to my office so I can share more. So you're probably used to seeing videos of lavish trader lifestyles, trading gurus trading off of a laptop for an hour a day, heck, maybe even 15 minutes a day, and then them relaxing on some secluded beach for the rest of the day. Well, all I can tell you is that our traders train like pro athletes. They live and breathe the markets and are continually working on their trading skills. Because at our firm, that's what we found it really takes to make it in this game. I'm Mike Bellafiore, co-founder and managing partner of S&B Capital, one of the world's top proprietary trading firms located in Midtown Manhattan. And we're always looking for trading talent to hire and develop. And not just to trade in-house on our desk, but also to trade from their own home, entirely using our firm's capital. And we have numerous traders doing just that, allowing them to make upwards of 7 figures trading the firm's capital without risking their own money. But to even get a shot at something like that, you need to have the right training.
That's why we're doing a new free online presentation in which we share how you can get an interview with SMB to become an in-house or remote trader, trading firm capital without risking yours, and gaining access to all of our firm's coaching and resources. And the best part? You don't have to be a profitable trader yet. In fact, we prefer to mold profitable traders with our methods and our techniques. That's why we have just 3 simple criteria that can earn anyone an interview. We're looking for highly ambitious and determined traders who fit our culture first and foremost. So if you believe that could be you, sign up for the free 1-hour online presentation by clicking the link that's in your top right corner of your screen now.